Hi everybody, here is the Lone Wolf, and this is my first video on openings in 4-player chess in the team mode. So the first opening I want to analyze is a very easy one, very simple one. Let's call it the trade variation. And you will soon understand why it's called trade variation. Guess what? There is actually some trade, and pretty much trade. So it's a line in the king pawn closed. So remember we call this king pawn closed, while we call this king pawn opened, and the same for the queen pawn closed and queen pawn opened. I know it's not very original, but it's quite easy to remember at least. So this is the trade variation. This is a bad move. It is already losing. Do not play it. So I will now explain why this is losing already in the first move. So it's quite incredible. I think there is no move in chess that loses as first move. Well, at least you can lose a pawn maybe, but it's quite difficult to lose the game already. Okay, so this is a pretty good example of why offering trades is dangerous. So now it's pretty evident that there is a bishop attacking the other bishop. If yellow and green didn't play anything particular, if they didn't play anything particular, red could just take and king takes. Okay, this is a simple trade and nothing happened, except for blue already having lost the right to castle, and also having the king is a bit exposed because it's on a open diagonal, so a check might come. Right, so having this said, the thing is that yellow and green are going to play something important for the game and not just some random moves. And this is the thing: queen attacking the queen. So now this leads to blue being mated. So actually let me clear. Alright, so there was some moves I wanted to eliminate from here. Okay, so right now blue takes, red takes here, blue takes the queen, yellow takes, and blue is losing a bishop and a rook. So what could seem a very innocent trade is now going down a bishop and a rook, and this is clearly losing for blue and green. Okay, so this was if green didn't play anything particular. So green has now 3 main ideas to try helping blue. So the thing is, if green plays something passive, that would be already a blunder, because it would allow blue to lose material. So sometimes even not playing a good move is a blunder. While in chess, you might miss an opportunity, and that you might not be punished. You might only miss an opportunity to go in advantage, but your opponent won't win. very easily. Well, now being active is very important. So if green played passively, his partner would die. Okay, so the three main ideas. Let's start with the easy one. I've seen some players playing this. I think the main idea is that I don't know, it's not really doing anything. Because now yellow king can take back the queen, and yeah, this is not great because it's also protecting the pawn. Maybe green can do something like this to protect this pawn, so actually red and yellow only go up a bishop, but being up a full bishop is already a good advantage. Okay, so this move doesn't really help. Okay, so let's analyze another one. Let's see if he tries to play symmetrical. So king pawn, king pawn, king pawn, king pawn. The idea is just trade everything off, right? So everyone is going to trade. Nothing more wrong. Okay, so this is actually this is wrong. This is more forcing. Probably makes the same result, but I mean, yeah, probably the result is the same. This is still. And here is the problem. This is undefended, the king can't recapture. So now red and yellow are up a bishop, up full bishop. Also notice that this bishop is particularly important because it's the only dark square bishop. All the other bishops are light squares. This means that yellow and red will have a very easy life on the dark squares with the kings, and the opponents won't because there will be a dark square bishop in the game. Now it's green to play. He will try not to lose his rook. He can only push the pawn or moving the knight. So moving the knight here and here is bad because it allows a fork. Bishop takes the pawn and forks with the rook. While moving the knight here is an idea, or moving the pawn is another idea. Now it's pretty evident that I cannot analyze all the lines in the game. So, right, let me. I will give my intuition an important role. So I will eliminate moves like this, which seem clearly hopeless to me. So this is clearly worse than the other move to me. So we will only analyze this one because I think it's the most played and the one which has more sense. So now yellow has two possibilities. He can either take the knight or take the pawn, meaning attacking the rook. So I want to talk now about something I haven't mentioned yet, so the value of the pieces. A bishop is worth more than a knight. This is sure. Because being the both bigger, a bishop can go from one side to the other, and a knight can't. In the normal chess, they almost have the same value because the board is smaller, and their average number of moves is pretty much the same. Also, the knight is trickier in normal chess, but even here, of course it depends from the position. Sometimes the knight is very useful, especially to attack the king. The king's knight to attack the other king. But still, this bishop, we already said that this is very important because it's the only dark square bishop. I don't think it's good to trade it for the knight. You will be only a knight up, and it's not going to be very important. But just to make an example, let's evaluate this position. So this is a position where red and yellow are winning, but just slightly. They only have a knight more. If they play well, they would probably win, but it's very easy to miss tactics in this game, and a tactic goes wrong, they lose a rook, and they lose the game. Right, so also very important thing is that in this position, considering material is already enough to evaluate the position, because there are not really other elements. So activity is the same for every other player, and also development. So it's enough to look at material. Now, the bad side of this move is that it's gonna open up the file for the rook, and this is some counterplay, because having a rook in the open field might be good for green. So the idea is that you have to get the advantage, so keeping the bishop, but also deny the counterplay to green. So you want to close this file. How can you do? So it's very important to notice that now it's not yellow move, it's red's move. But red's has to take into account yellow's next move in order to play his move now. He can't simply play a random move and just see later that yellow will have a problem. So there are a few ideas. I will just show a couple. One is this. So you can really play a random move because he has no important moves which can really change the game. This is probably the fastest move he has. He can attack this very easily. So this is happening, and the idea is that we are blocking this rook, we are pinning the knight to the king, and this is a check. Whenever yellow wants, he can deliver a check, and we have a rook ready to go into the battle, attacking this very easy target, which is the pawn, which can't be protected. So I suggest green to play something like this, probably, but still this is a very good position for red and yellow, and there's no doubt about it. And right, other ideas might be to open up here in order to give yellow a check on blue. Also, he now has a very safe bishop, and this is another simple idea. Another idea is just yellow going back. Wait, so we want to close the file, but yellow goes back here, or even here, attacking the pawn. Even if this pawn is not very important, the next move he can deliver a check on blue. The thing is that this is very easily defended by blue, just pushing the pawn. Okay, at least blue has to waste a move in order to play the pawn move. Okay, so these are some ideas in this line. Now let's go back at the beginning, because we're going to analyze the last defensive idea. This is probably the more complex and the one you should play if your partner plays this. So your partner makes a mistake and you try to make it the trickiest possible to avoid losing so easily. So you play this move. This means that when red is going to take the bishop, you're going to go on after red's rook. Also, you are protecting this pawn from red bishop. So let's now analyze some possible ideas here. I will tell you my first ideas in this position. So the first thing I thought is that okay, this is okay, this goes here, he takes and he takes. Right, so in this position I was thinking, well, red can take because blue can easily defend with the other bishop, right? So before green's turn, so this is not a free bishop and this is also defending the rook, right? So blue of course wants to save his rook, so he plays the knight here, and now yellow wants to help. What happens next is that green takes. Green takes, and what if yellow plays just a random move? Blue can protect the bishop. So suddenly they got back the material, because if yellow takes, blue is gonna take back. Right. Well, this is not very true. Not very true, indeed. So you could say that yellow goes here and then red protects it, but green has a very interesting defense here by offering the trade. This is a position where you can offer the trade with no risk. So now red can't really protect anymore because green is going to take his queen. So I don't know, something like this might happen. Nope, the knight doesn't move that much. Okay. And so blue and green are okay with the material. So, and this is because red wasted a move. He played a random move here. Wasting a move is always terrible. So what if red plays here? Rook protects. Yellow takes. And nice green move. What can he do? So this doesn't work anymore because red can simply move. Green has nothing on the king. And what happens is that rook takes and something random, and yeah, green can't do nothing to prevent red from taking back. So that doesn't work. But what about this maybe? So he goes there. Now red can play a random move. Blue takes. Yellow plays something random. And green goes here. So what's the issue here? What's the problem? The thing is that red can actually take here. Why? Because the knight is actually saving him, also attacking the king. Right. So the same could have been done with a bishop, with a pawn, if you want to open up the bishop. So it goes like this. Right. Well, actually this is bad because you're allowing this, but this was just a random move. I mean, okay, he should probably play something like this to escape with the king. And here yellow saves the red queen. Okay. So we understand that this doesn't work for blue and green. There are also other possibilities. So, for example, red should avoid playing this with this idea, because after the rook moves to protect the bishop, and this happens, the bishop protects, and this is not a free bishop as you might think. So what if red plays here? Blue simply takes. So this is not an idea yet. And if red waits, this is what happens. So blue is actually protecting the bishop. Or actually, sorry, this move is probably more accurate. This is protecting, and also the knight is not. It's not possible to take the knight anymore. Okay, without giving the rook. Right. So this move doesn't work. This little trick actually goes in favor of blue and green. The right move was queen here in this situation. But one thing I only noticed after is that blue doesn't necessarily have to play this move. This is a clever move as well. That's a very interesting move. And now, so remember what happened. We are talking about yellow protects the red bishop, but blue is actually cutting out the bishop. So next move, green will take the bishop. And what happens here is that the blue and green go up material, go equal material, but also they have a good position. They are attacking the rook, and they are more active. So now yellow has to act. He can't play a passive move, and this is the right move. This is working. So if, of course, if bishop takes bishop, then he loses the queen. If if he takes with the queen, then he takes the bishop back. And you can see that in every line, red and yellow go up a bishop in the end. Of course, you have to be careful about things like this. So next turn, yellow will defend, and this is not dangerous at all in this moment. So even if red is offering a trade, this is a safe one because blue can't actually help. Alright, so I hope you understood why you should not play the trade variation, because red and yellow can actually gain a winning advantage in terms of material in every position, in every line, I mean, in every line. But if your partner plays it, then this is probably the better move to try to get some tricks. So you saw that the lines after this move are quite tricky, so your opponents might not see this move, for example, and stuff like that. So right, this was the first very easy openings, and in the next videos I will talk about other ideas after this, especially talking about the classical variation, which is this. I will call this line the classical variation, with the king's pawn, queen's pawn, king's pawn, queen's pawn. Right? So let me know in the comments if you have any questions, if you did not understand something, or you have other lines, and yeah, I will be happy to answer as I can. See you guys. Also tell me if you liked this video, so I know what I can improve in the next theory videos I will do. See ya.